to the reading video. Now I am in the library at St Christopher's where we have a range of fantastic texts. Now in this video we'll be looking at how we teach reading at St Christopher's. Now, as mentioned in the writing and phonics video, students use their knowledge of sounds to help them with reading and writing unknown words. So in this video, we'll be having a look at how the students use their sound knowledge to support them with reading.
When students first learn to read, they will be using their sound waves chart and their knowledge of the sounds that they have been taught in the classroom. They will be taught 43 of the sounds within the English language and some of the graphemes or the letter combinations which work together to make each of these sounds. They will then use this knowledge to have a go of reading unknown words. So for example, if a child is trying to read the word sit, they will first be asked to look at all the sounds they can identify in the word. So the teacher will say, what sound can this letter make? What about the sound in the middle? What sound can the last letter make? We call this process segmenting. Once the child has identified all of the sounds in the word, they will then be asked to practice what we call blending, and that is when we push those sounds together to form words. So here we can see s, I, t, that is segmenting. And with blending, the teacher may ask them to put some pretend chewing gum in their mouth and push the sounds together to form the word. So s, I, sit, 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 until they're able to discover what the unknown word is. As students get more confident with segmenting and blending, they will be given more complex words which contain digraphs. Now these are two letters which are working together to make the same sound. So students could be given the word book and asked what sounds they could see within the word. The teacher may need to mention that this word has a digraph in it. So the two O's are actually working together to make the O sound. So in this word, there are only 3 sounds, although there are 4 letters. Now, after identifying the sounds, so b, u, k, so segmenting, the student will then need to blend those sounds together to discover the word. So b, u, k, bu, k, book, until they're able to discover that the word is book. So students will be encouraged to use these skills of segmenting and blending when they're trying to read a text on their own by looking at the individual words, working out the sounds within the word, and then blending those sounds together to discover the word. When children are first learning to read, they will be using what we call decodable texts. Now these texts only include words which have the sounds that the students have already been introduced to. So the first set of sounds that they will be introduced to in kindergarten are the sounds s, a, t, p, I, n. And the text here on the screen only has words which contain those sounds. Now this will allow the students to practice the sounds that they have been taught in the context of a text in order for them to achieve success with the process of learning to read. Now the use of decodable texts is based on current research and is different to PM predictable level texts which have been used at St Christopher's in the past. Now these texts do not follow the same leveled system that you may be used to if you have older children. Now students will have access to decodable text home readers, both in hard copy and online through a program called Wooshka. We recommend that students read for a minimum of 15 minutes per night with a parent or carer, in addition to what they'll be doing in the classroom at school. Now during this time, you may wish to discuss the front cover, the pictures, and direct them to the words on the page. Now it's important that you're not just telling your child a word if they do not know it, but instead supporting them with using the strategies to independently read words on their own, using segmenting and blending and their knowledge of the 43 sounds that they've been taught in the classroom. Now, it's also important that children are introduced to quality literature at home in addition to at school, as this will allow them to develop a love of reading, but also support them with understanding new vocabulary words and, most importantly, the meaning behind different texts. Now in the classroom, teachers will read a range of books to the children that they won't be able to read yet on their own. Now at home, it's important that you also do the same and spend some time reading a range of texts with your children. They won't be able to read these texts on their own yet, so it's important that you model how to read these texts with fluent reading and expression. After reading a text, it's important to check for understanding by asking your child a few questions. You might like to ask them to retell what happened in the story, or to talk about their favourite part. Now at school, the teachers will be asking your child a range of questions during the text reading and also after to check that they are able to comprehend what is happening within the text. Now, reading is not just about getting the words off the page, it's also about understanding what the text is telling us about. Once the children start school, they will also be given high-frequency words to practice at home, which go with each decodable text level. Now, these are very common words which come up in most texts. Now, sounding out these words is harder for children as they don't include the most common grapheme choices or letter choices. However, they can be sounded out. So children just need to have an understanding of these sound choices which are in those words. So the children will be explicitly introduced to these words within their classroom and the sounds within them before they are sent home. Your task for this week is to read with your child every night for a minimum of 15 minutes. Now, you may wish to borrow books from a local library if you do not have any at home. Now, on the screen are some questions you can use to support your child with comprehending what the text is telling them about. So there are some before reading questions, some during reading questions, and then also some after reading questions. You might like to take a picture with these on your phone so that you have them easily accessible when you are reading with your child each night. Good luck!